Gather round, friends, and lend an ear to the embers of the unexplained. Percy Hawthorne here, your guide through the dusty archives of the extraordinary. Tonight's file, pulled from the shelves marked Valley Forge Eclipse, carries the chill of forgotten winter and the blinding shadow of cosmic intent. It speaks of loyalty tested not just by hardship, but by whispers in the void, and a debt left unpaid for centuries, finally called due beneath a darkened sun. The air over Valley Forge National Historical Park crackled, not with the remembered agony of the 1777 to 78 winter, but with the electric anticipation of thousands. April 8th, totality approached. Gabriel Sterling adjusted the heavy wool collar of his Continental Army private's uniform, the coarse fabric an uncomfortable anchor to the past. Beside him, Milo Hart practically vibrated in his own ill-fitting uniform, juggling 3 commemorative Eclipse glasses before stuffing them into a haversack already bulging with protein bars and a thermos Gabriel knew contained something significantly stronger than coffee. "Focus, Milo," Gabriel murmured, his gaze sweeping the crowded encampment. Reenactors meticulously tended campfires, drilled with wooden muskets, and explained 18th century life to tourists wrapped in modern fleece. Yet, beneath the surface thrum of excitement, Gabriel felt it, a deep dissonant hum, like a tuning fork struck against bedrock. It resonated in his bones, a low-grade nausea mixed with an unsettling pressure behind his eyes. Empathic residue, he thought, old and cold, and something else, something waking up. Focus, Gabe, Buddy, totality in T-minus 47 minutes. We're standing where history froze it but off, and the universe is about to flip the lights out. Focus is overrated. Milo grinned, but his eyes, usually sparkling with chaotic mirth, held a flicker of something else, a watchfulness. His cosmic intuition, Gabriel recognized. Milo's gut was already whispering warnings his mouth hadn't caught up to yet. "Feel it too?" Gabriel asked quietly, his voice barely audible over the crowd's murmur. Milo's grin faltered, like indigestion from a dodgy kebab mixed with stage fright. Bad kebab, big stage. What is that hum? Older than us, older than this encampment, Gabriel said, his cryptologic expertise instinctively trying to parse the sensation, searching for patterns in the psychic noise. It felt linguistic, but not in any human way. Structured pressure, emotional weight distributed like syntax. Something happened here. Something Washington buried. Milo pulled out a phone, swiping rapidly. Buried? Like literally or metaphorically? Because if it's literal, I brought a tiny folding shovel. Improv tool number 72. Be prepared for unexpected digging. He paused, staring at the screen. Weird footnote. Some diaries from soldiers here mention lights. Strange lights in the sky during that winter. But Washington issued strict orders. No recording of atmospheric anomalies. Threatened court-martial. He looked up, the usual levity gone. Lights. Like UFO lights. Gabriel nodded grimly, the empathic pressure intensifying as the sky began its slow, surreal dimming. The dissonant hum deepened, vibrating in his molars. Not just lights, Milo. Contact. Suppressed contact. He recalled snippets of obscure lore, whispers from a consultant work with scientific horizons, patterns of suppression around inexplicable events, often preceding periods of societal upheaval. A desperate bid for control or protection. As the sun dwindled to a sliver, the world plunged into an eerie, premature twilight. A collective gasp rose from the thousands gathered. The temperature plummeted. Birds fell silent. Gabriel's nature attunement screamed. The park wasn't just holding its breath. It was recoiling. The ancient trees seemed to groan. The dissonant hum wasn't just sound now. It was a physical presence, thickening the air, pressing down. He saw Milo flinch, a hand go into his temple, his photographic memory likely etching the unnatural scene with painful clarity. Then, the diamond ring effect flared and vanished. Totality, darkness, profound and absolute, save for the sun's ethereal corona, a silver halo in the void. Stars pricked the indigo sky. Utter silence reigned for a heartbeat. Then, The whispers began. Not audible, not quite. They insinuated themselves directly into mind-cold, slick tendrils of thought. Gabriel staggered, clutching his head. Images flooded his vision. Not his own. Snow-drifted huts, gaunt faces hollowed by hunger and cold, the oppressive weight of despair, and above, descending through iron-gray clouds, not lights, but a presence, a vessel of impossible geometry, radiating cold intellect and a terrifying, ancient hunger. Empathic truth-sensing exploded within him. He felt the raw terror of the soldiers, the crushing weight of Washington's order, silence, on pain of death, for the sake of morale, for the fragile cause. And he felt the offer, projected from a vessel, a psychic broadcast, allegiance, power, an end to suffering, dominion over this world. Serve us, he gasped, wrenching himself back to the present. The corona blazing above. Milo was on his knees nearby, face pale, eyes wide with shared horror. Lafayette. Milo choked out. I saw Lafayette's journal. In my head, he wrote it down, secretly, called it the Celestial Emissary. Offered Washington an army, not a men, of things. Power to crush the British overnight. Washington refused. Said, our allegiance is to liberty, not lords, celestial or otherwise. Around them, chaos erupted, but not the awed chaos of Eclipse watchers. Reenactors stood rigid, eyes rolled back, mouths slack, or twitched violently. Others clutched their heads, moaning. Some staggered towards the perimeter, toward the dark line of the Eclipse, shadow racing eastward towards the Delaware River. Their movements were jerky, puppet-like, possessed. The cycle, Gabriel breathed, understanding crashing down. Washington refused, broke the initial pact. But the emissary left a hook, a psychic signature tied to this place, this alignment. It's back. It's using the Eclipse. The reenactors reliving the moment of offer through them, trying to find someone willing to say yes this time. The cryptologic expertise kicked in, analyzing the patterns of possession. It was strongest near the original hut sites, flaring along the path the shadow was taking. It needed the totality over the river to anchor, amplify, to finalize a new pact. Milo scrambled up, his cosmic intuition screaming like a klaxon. That way, the shadow's moving fast. It wants the river. And those guys... He pointed to a group of 5 reenactors marching with unnerving synchronization towards the park's eastern boundary, towards where the Skykill met the Delaware. Their eyes glowed with a faint, sickly green luminescence. They're receptive, listening hard to the sail's pitch. They had to move. Now, Gabriel's empathic truth sensing was a storm conflicting emotions. The emissary's cold, predatory hunger, the reenactor's terror, and a horrifying, seductive undercurrent of willingness in some, the ancient echoes of the soldiers' despair and Washington's steely resolve. He focused on the latter, using Washington's remembered defiance as a shield against the psychic onslaught. We need to break the connection. Disrupt the pattern before the shadow hits the Delaware. Disrupt how? Yo, boo! Offer better coffee. Milo quipped, the automatic improv reflex kicking in, though his voice shook. He scanned the panicking crowd, the possessed marching relentlessly eastward. Okay. Pattern. You're the code breaker. What's the weak point? Gabriel forced his mind to work through the empathic noise. The offer is a psychic broadcast, a specific frequency, tied to the place and the event. Lafayette's journal. Milo, what exactly did he write? Word for word. Your memory. Milo closed his eyes, brow furrowed in intense concentration. His photographic memory replayed the phantom text. The entity descends within the storm's heart, speaks not with tongue but with the weight of glaciers upon the mind, offers dominion wrapped in chains of starlight, demands allegiance absolute, names itself. Milo's eyes snapped open. It named itself. Valesh Navor. That's what Lafayette wrote. Valesh Navor. Valesh Navor. The name resonated in Gabriel's mind like a struck gong. It wasn't just a label, it was a key. His cryptologic expertise seized on it. Alien languages often embedded intent, structure, power into nomenclature. This felt recursive, self-referential, a name that was also a command structure, A beacon. Its name is the broadcast signal, Gabriel realized. Speaking it, acknowledging it directly, that might amplify the connection, make the possessed more susceptible, or a desperate idea formed, or maybe rejecting it by name with the same intent Washington used could disrupt the frequency. Reject the alien salesman by name? Loudly? In the middle of a cosmic light show and a zombie reenactor march. Milo managed a shaky grin. Improv tool number 101. Make a bigger scene. I like it, but how do we get them to hear us over the psychic yodeling? They push through disoriented crowds, following possessed quintet who move with unnerving speed. The Eclipse shadow race ahead, plunging the landscape into deeper gloom as they neared the riverbank. The dissonant hum was a physical force now, making Gabriel's teeth ache. The green glow in the possessed reenactor's eyes intensified. Ahead, the wide expanse of the Delaware River flowed darkly, the Eclipse shadow just beginning to sweep across its surface like a stain. The moment of maximum amplification was seconds away. One of the possessed, a man portraying a sergeant, stopped at the water's edge. He turned, not to Gabriel and Milo, but upwards toward the hidden sun. His mouth opened, and a voice that wasn't his emerged, layered, echoing, ancient and cold. VLSHNAVOR offers ascension. Lay down your fragile allegiances. Embrace eternity. Serve. Prosper. The word slammed into Gabriel's mind, a tangible wave of compulsion. He felt a seductive pull, an end to struggle, to insignificance. Power. He saw Milo stagger, his face contorted with effort, fighting the invasive promise. Around them, other possessed figures echoed the call, their combined voices forming a chilling chorus. The green glow pulsed, reaching out tendrils towards the dark water, seeking to anchor the emissaries in the river, in the land itself. They were out of time. Gabriel grabbed Milo's arm, pouring every ounce of his empathic truth-sensing into projecting raw conviction, the feeling of Washington's refusal, the steely resolve, the commitment to a cause greater than power, the fierce, flawed love for a nascent nation. He focused it into a spear aimed at the possessed sergeant. "Remember," he roared, not just with his voice, but with his entire being. "Remember the general's order. Remember why." Milo understood instantly. He didn't just shout, he performed, draw himself up with ridiculous, anachronistic bravado. He pointed a dramatic finger at the sky, channeling every ounce of his chaotic energy into defiance. He didn't mimic Washington. He embodied the spirit of the refusal, loud, irreverent, and utterly human. Hey, Valeshnavor, talk about a bad pitch. Dominion? Chains of starlight? Sounds itchy. And eternity? Buddy, we haven't even figured out decent Wi-Fi yet. We decline. Thanks, but no thanks. Our allegiance? It's messy, it's loud. It burns coffee and argues about taxes, and it's OURS. Take your ascension and shove it back into the void. The sheer unexpected audacity of it, the jarring collision of modern snark with the cosmic horror, created a psychic dissonance of its own. Milo's improv genius wasn't just comedy. It was disruption. It was a human counterfrequency. Gabriel seized a moment, amplifying Milo's defiance with his own focused will. He locked eyes with the possessed sergeant, pouring the empathic echo of Washington's resolve. The soldiers endured suffering for a principle, directly into the alien connection. He didn't just say the words. He weaponized Lafayette's secret knowledge, the true name, imbuing it with ejection. VLSHNAVOR. Your offer is rejected, as it was by Washington, as it is by U.S. Our allegiance is to Earth, to liberty. You have no power here. The effect was instantaneous and violent. The possessed sergeant screamed, a raw, tearing sound of mingled human terror and alien fury. The green light in his eyes flared blindingly bright, then shattered like glass. He collapsed, gasping, human again. The other possessed figures staggered as if struck. The chorus of alien voices cut off abruptly, replaced by confused cries and whimpers. The psychic pressure, the dissonant hum, fractured. The tendrils of green light reaching for the river recoiled, snapping back into nothingness as the eclipse shadow fully passed over the water and began its retreat. The compulsion lifted like a physical weight. Sunlight, weak but growing, speared to the retreating darkness. The bird song returned, hesitant at first, then triumphant. Around them, reenactors blinked, shook their heads, looked at each other in utter bewilderment. The alien presence scrubbed from their minds, leaving only a profound sense of unease and the memory of a strange, shared dream. Gabriel sank to his knees, exhausted, the empathic overload leaving him trembling. Milo slumped beside him, breathing heavily, his face pale but his eyes clear. Did we just tell an alien god to get lost using Lafayette's notes and sass? A weak smile touched Gabriel's lips. We broke the cycle, used a key it left, its name against it, sealed it with the same spirit that refused it the first time. He looked towards the river, now gleaming under the returning sun. The ancient, cold presence was gone, the dissonant hum silenced. The echoes of that terrible winter settled back into the earth, quieted once more. The park slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy, though a deep, unsettled quiet hung over the crowd. The awe of the eclipse was now irrevocably tainted with something darker, something unexplained. Park rangers moved among the confused reenactors. Emergency services tended to few who had fainted or were injured in the panic. Gabriel and Milo slipped away unnoticed, just two more shaken participants amidst thousands. Later, sitting in Milo's cluttered apartment, surrounded by alien memorabilia and half-empty coffee mugs, Gabriel examined a digital scan of Lafayette's journal entry Milo had miraculously unearthed from a deep web archive. There it was, Valashnavor. The name pulsed faintly on the screen, a dormant sigil. Milo shivered, rubbing his arms. You think it's gone for good? Or just waiting for the next alignment? The next moment of weakness. Gabriel stared at the name. His empathic truth sensing detected only the faintest, coldest echo, buried deep, like ice in a forgotten crevice. His nature attunement felt the park slowly calming, the trees no longer groaning, the river flowing undisturbed. It was rejected, twice, by Washington's resolve and by whatever that was we did now. He paused. The cycle is broken, but the archive, the potential, remains. Valashnavor is patient. Cosmic scales measure time differently. He closed the laptop. It knows Earth exists. It knows human frailty and desire. Milo picked up his thermos, pouring 2 strong cups of spiked coffee. So vigilance, and maybe better counter-arguments for next time? Your chains of starlight clash with my aesthetic? He offered Gabriel a cup, the familiar gesture grounding. Gabriel accepted the cup, the warmth seeping into his chill bones. He thought of the terrified soldiers, Washington's impossible choice, the seductive, terrifying promise whispered across centuries. He thought of Milo's ridiculous, vital defiance by the dark river. Vigilance, he agreed softly, taking a sip, and remembering what we're fighting for, not just against. The coffee was bitter, strong, and undeniably human. And so, the ledger on this particular strangeness closes, for now. The shadow has passed, the whisper silenced, the debt of allegiance left unpaid once more. Yet, the echo remains, doesn't it? Beneath the serene fields of Valley Forge, beneath the flow of the Delaware, a cosmic ledger waits, its pages patient. Remember, the world hums with more mysteries and answers, often written in starlight and shadow upon the parchment of our history. Keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and perhaps carry a spare coffee for a friend facing down the void. This is Percy Hawthorne, reminding you, the archive is never truly complete. Good night.